Hey everybody, this is the presentation for Chapter 4 of The Great Gatsby. Once you're done watching this, please go ahead and take the quiz over Chapters 3 and 4 and make sure you get that done in a timely manner. So here we go. So like we talked about last time, Gatsby's kind of the party man. All right, so in Chapter 4, the gossip and the parties continue at Gatsby. So people, everybody, like I said in the previous videos, everybody has an opinion of who he is, what he does, and how he makes his money. So some people say that he's a bootlegger. Bootlegging, as I talked about in a previous video, was a common crime of the day, seeing as prohibition was in full swing. So alcohol was banned. People wanted to drink anyway, so they either made it on their own or bought it from other people, or people sold it. Okay. Now, other people say, in terms of gossip, that one time he killed a man who found out that he was a nephew of von Hindenburg. Von Hindenburg is or was one of the presidents of Germany, one of the leaders in Germany during World War I. There was a general anti-German sentiment in the United States during the 20s because they were the enemy in World War I. So not a lot of people would jive with Gatsby being a nephew of a German leader. Now, the bottom line is no one, including us at this point, really know who Gatsby is and what he has done and how he's made his fortune. So all people have are their perceptions and rumors about him. So all that said, the parties that he invites nobody to continue throughout the summer with many people coming all over, especially from East and West Egg. Nick goes through a rundown of the people who were there at the beginning of Chapter 4. Okay, so all in all, Nick eventually comes to know Gatsby. So Gatsby invites him to lunch one day and then tells him about the first time that Gatsby came to his home. So Gatsby shows up in an elegant automobile to take Nick to lunch in New York City. So Gatsby kind of starts the conversation, says, well, what's your opinion of me? So right off the bat, he said, well, what do you think of me? Who do people say that I am, kind of deal. So Gatsby goes on to introduce himself, to Nick. Now, we don't know if this is legit or not. He says he's from the Middle West, but he gets that confused. He says he's from the Middle West, but he was raised in San Francisco. Those are two totally different places. For us, this San Francisco is the West, not the Midwest, okay? He also mentions that he's Oxford educated, and he has proof. He has a picture of him and his boys from Oxford. He shows Nick. Now, he also says that he has acquired a great inheritance and lived like a young Raja. So he was able to collect jewels, hunt big game, paint, and he tried to forget something sad that happened to him. Hint, hint. So he eventually, in order to do that, joins the war, World War I, and receives decorations for his bravery. Nick laughs at this. So why would he laugh at him receiving a medal? All of this to Nick at this point is unbelievable. He cannot believe that this guy has lived the life he has and basically laughs about it because it's so unbelievable. However, it's true. At least Gatsby has proof that it's true because he has a medal from Montenegro, which is a country in Europe. So Gatsby and Nick make their way downtown, and Gatsby needs a favor. So he says, I'm going to make a big request of you today, so I thought you ought to know something about me. I didn't want you to think that I was just some nobody. So that is the reasoning for him talking about all the things that he's accomplished. Now, in saying this, Gatsby shows his vulnerability. So he says, I'm going to ask you a favor, and I want you to know who I am, just so I am not a total stranger to you. He wants to look important so that Nick will complete his request. Now, Gatsby does not make the request of Nick directly. He gives Jordan Baker the task of doing that. We'll get to that. Now, in terms of that, or of their meeting downtown, Meyer Wolfsheim is a new character that the two of them, as you see in the picture, run into. So Meyer is an infamous gangster. He has human molars for cufflinks, so those are the things that you would have as a gentleman on your shirt. Instead of buttoning it, you have cufflinks. And so his are made of human teeth, human molars. So what does that mean? He's probably killed somebody and used their teeth to make cufflinks. All right. So he broods about a murder. He's upset about something. He, like I said, is a gangster. So he's kind of a shady fellow that Gatsby has come to befriend. His kind of claim to fame or claim to infamy was that he allegedly fixed the 1919 World Series. This actually happened. If you've ever heard of the Black Sox scandal, not schedule. That was the Black Sox were the White Sox back in the day. They fixed the 1919 World Series. They were caught and got it taken away. Meyer Wolfsheim, a fictional character, is the one who allegedly put all that together. Okay, so on with the request from Jordan to Nick. So in order to get to that, you have to understand kind of where Jordan and Daisy come from and how they know one another. Let me move this here. So Jordan tells Nick about her relationship with Daisy, which dates back to their time together in Louisville, Kentucky. So Daisy was the richest and most popular gal in town. Jordan spied on her one day. She was sitting in her car with a lieutenant named Jay Gatsby. So the rumors began to swirl that Daisy was trying to run away with this lieutenant, who was Gatsby, and her family stops her. So because of that stoppage, Gatsby goes off to war. Daisy is stuck in Kentucky. A lot of time passes. Word gets out that she becomes engaged to Tom Buchanan of Chicago. Tom, as a kind of promissory gift to her, buys her a string of pearls. Now, they get married. Their wedding is a huge affair because they're both stupid rich. And then shortly after the wedding, Tom starts to cheat and show his true colors toward her. And that's the beginning of Daisy's misery. So Gatsby, knowing all this, makes his request through Jordan to Nick. So Jordan tells Nick that Gatsby bought the house so that Daisy would be just across the bay. So at the beginning, if you remember about the green light, where Gatsby is reaching out toward this light, that was him reaching out toward Daisy. So Gatsby wants to know if Nick will invite Daisy to his house one afternoon and then just allow Gatsby to kind of pop in randomly. So that's the request. So Nick is going to have Daisy over for tea. Gatsby will just show up. The two of them meet once again, and Gatsby's hope is that she'll fall in love with him once again. So there's a modesty in that demand, and it shakes Nick. So Nick is like, well, this guy has waited years, bought a mansion just to go to some tea party to meet her again. There's some modesty in that. Gatsby doesn't want Daisy to know his true intention. And so Nick is kind of taken aback, but not upset by the fact that he is the middleman. So he has to put this together. Gatsby didn't want to do this on his own, so he kind of sought out Nick to do that. So Nick takes advantage of this situation and starts a fling with Jordan. There's a quote here. I drew up the girl beside me, tightening my arms. Her wan, scornful mouth smiled, so I drew her up closer again, this time to my face. So he starts a fling with Jordan Baker as a result of his helping Gatsby. So we'll see how the tea party plays out in the next chapter. Okay? So that's the end of chapter 4. Go ahead and take the quiz. Right now it's over chapters 3 and 4. Make sure that you get it done in a timely manner. It's set to half an hour, so make sure you're getting that done within that time frame.